Hello everyone, how are we all? How are you doing? I hope you're feeling good. I am feeling better from last week, I tell you that. I am feeling positive vibes, good energy, and that is what we want. And that is what today's episode is going to be about. We're going to have some positive energy and good vibes. Okay, I hope you're ready. But the reason why I'm feeling so positive and upbeat is because yesterday I very excitingly spoke on a panel. Now, this is something I'd always wanted to do, but never really had the opportunity to. And the opportunity came about and I did it. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I have suffered with social anxiety pretty much my whole life. And I spoke on that panel with ease. And I can't express to you how big that is for me. To put it into context, to make you understand a little bit why that's so big for me. When I was at school, I would struggle to speak to someone who was sat next to me if I didn't know them. I wouldn't put my hand up in class because I was terrified that I was going to be judged. I literally would keep myself to myself. I was silent most of the time. If I was to go into a shop and buy something, I'd wait for multiple people to be in the queue before I'd get in the queue. I would really struggle to even speak to a stranger, buying something. That would be really hard. Many things, right? I went up on that stage. I didn't feel anxious. I mean, I was with other people and I did have a little bit of anxiety before I went, for sure. But I didn't have that panic, that fear, that worry. And for me, that is huge. I feel like in the last probably 3 years, I've dramatically changed the anxiety that I have. My anxiety has kind of taken a backseat, which obviously it's not going anywhere. It stays there, but it's taken a backseat and I can understand it a little bit more. And I know how to handle it and what to listen to, which I think for me is becoming a really, really exciting thing, because I'm now starting to kind of see benefits from all this hard work that I've done. Now, I'm not saying this to make anyone out there who's also suffering with social anxiety to feel bad about it or anything like that, or feel like they're not achieving anything, because that isn't the case. But the reason why I'm saying this is because for anyone out there who is suffering with social anxiety, who does suffer with it, who has social anxiety, wants to be that confident person, wants to be that person that can be able to do things that they never were able to do before, I promise you, you'll get there. You will get there and you'll be so happy you did. Just remember that everyone's journey is different, and I am grateful that I finally managed to get to this point. I think a lot of it does have to do with the people around you. I was really lucky. All of the people that work at Like to Know It, who I went there with, who I was speaking with, are so lovely. And I think that created a lot of comfort within me to avoid that anxious feeling. I think if I'd turned up alone, if I'd gone alone, I think I probably would have felt more anxious. But everyone was so nice, and I honestly can't believe I've done it. I did that. 13-year-old me would be like, no, you're joking. You wouldn't do that. That is mind-blowing to me. I think anyone who knew me at school wouldn't quite believe that I could do that now. And I think a lot of people meet me now and they think, oh, I would never know you were socially anxious. I would never know that was something you dealt with or you suffered with. And that's because I have done so much work to get to this point. Most people don't think that I have social anxiety, but it's such a big achievement to be able to do things that you never ever thought you could do because of anxiety. That is mind-blowing to me, because I always knew I could do stuff like this. I knew I could do it, but anxiety always takes that control, right? And for sure, when I was sat there on stage, I was twiddling my fingers, because that's an anxious thing. I couldn't just sit still. But then also I was looking around and I had to try and not create eye contact with anyone, because that would cause that fear of judgment. And I did still have that little inkling of fear of judgment while I was sat there. But I remembered that, first of all, they're watching us. There's multiple people on the stage. They're watching us. They're not there to judge what I'm doing. They're there to listen to what you have to say. So that was really nice. And I didn't listen to that when I had that feeling, I didn't listen to that. But I wanted to mention it because I thought for anyone out there who feels like they're not achieving their goals, they're not becoming that confident person, they're still not quite there, I promise you will get there. It's just a bit of a process, and social anxiety is an ongoing thing. It never disappears. Yes, it can take a backseat, but it never disappears. Your kind of triggers, or your, like, what's the word when you have, like, I have little social anxiety habits that I don't think will ever go. No one would necessarily know that they're social anxiety habits, but they're habits. And all of those things are just things that will always stay there. They're always there with you. But it just shows me how far I've come, and it also pushes me to do more. I always think that, you know how people say when you get out of your comfort zone, that's when good things happen. And it is true, but it's hard to know sometimes where your comfort zone line is. What is out of your comfort zone and what isn't? Like, what can you do to be outside of your comfort zone? That is the bit that I always find kind of hard, because I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, where do I go to do these things? I think also you have to be open for all the opportunities. And when the opportunity came my way, I could have easily said no, but I didn't, because I was like, no, this is something I want to do. It's nerve-wracking for sure, but it's something I want to do. And I'm so glad I said yes to it. It's the first time I've ever done anything like that. And I'm excited for any more opportunities that come my way that are similar to that. And I do think that, you know, me sat here talking to you guys really, really does help, because I'm better at speaking now. And I think this has actually been something that has been really weirdly useful for me. Not only do I get to talk to you guys and talk about things and give you guys advice and make myself feel better and whatnot, but also my speech is better, my talking is better, the way I can talk about things is better. I don't think I would be in a place where I would be able to speak to people quite the same if I didn't have this. And I think this has been a real big part of the journey of me being better at speaking and being open to doing these things, because I know I can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have this urge now to do more things, and it's pushed me in a really good way. It's like the drive in me has just like come back. It's like come back to life, and I'm like, I've got this. Like, those people that were watching me, and Tanya and Kristen, who was there, those people were watching to learn about the things I had to say, which means my knowledge is also useful for people, right? That was really cool, because I often think in the world of influencers and content creators, of which there are a lot of people that do this, same with podcasts, right? I've always felt like, what is my thing? Am I teaching anyone anything? Am I actually really good at this? And in that moment, I was like, I'm so good at what I do. People follow me because they like what I create. They like to listen to what I have to say. And for me, that is an amazing thing. So I will continue to do what I've got to do, like chat to the people that want to listen to me and have conversations and bring this podcast to you guys, because I know that people like to come to me for whatever they come to me for. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's fashion advice, whether that's just a bit of inspiration, whether that's life advice, all of the things that I share, it's nice to know that actually you are good at something. Sometimes you have to be in a situation to realize just how good you are and how amazing you are, and that life is good. And there's so many more amazing opportunities to come, which leads me on to what I wanted to talk to you guys today. I can't speak. What I wanted to talk to you guys today about. Talk to you about today. Anyway, is this idea that you have no idea how good life is about to get for you. And this all has come about from my panel talk that I did, right? And the reason is because I put myself out there and I did that talk. Granted, I had to be given the opportunity, yes, but I was open to any opportunities. I've always been open to things, and I think the right people will give you the right opportunities. And it's kind of excelled my like positivity and my drive for everything, right? And even today, just from, I don't know if this is just a coincidence or if it's like the positive mood, but I got a campaign come through today and I was like, oh, that's such a good one. And when something comes through that's well paid and I'm like, oh, yes, that genuinely fills me with so much joy. Not only did I do that thing yesterday, but then I got a good campaign come in today. And I'm like, oh my God, these positive things are just happening. And I often get very much down in the dumps about an array of things, whether that's my content's not performing, my work, I'm not getting any work at the moment. How am I supposed to meet the man of my dreams when, it's hard to find them? All of these things I can get really down about. Obviously there's so many more things, but those are just the top things I can think of. And I've realized that no matter what, there's always going to be people out there who will have a negative outlook on things, who will have something to say which will knock your confidence or knock how you feel. But it's important to remember that you have to be in control of how you feel of things. Now, it's very normal to feel low and not always be positive. And that, I think, is also important to not always be positive, because when you have those positive moments, you embrace them so much more. You feel appreciative of those positive moments, right? When I was feeling low the other week, I was feeling crap, yes. But that crap feeling has given me time to really think about things and also really appreciate how I'm feeling now. And I'm like, whoa, this is great. But like, the low moments are important. And, you don't want to be positive all the time. We don't need that toxic positivity. You want to be positive majority of the time, but when you feel low, when you feel sad, have those sad moments, because those are so important. But like, in order to be at the position to have these amazing things, you have to go through the low moments to then get yourself back into that positive space and be ready for it, right? Because I have seen a lot of things on TikTok as of recent. People complaining that there's no guys out there. Hinge is really bad. Like, the only way to meet people is to go out and go to a bar. And granted, I do think you do have to have like a lot of different things to try and meet someone. You can't just rely on a dating app. But also, the outlook on things is so negative. Now, I know I'm sat here single as ever. Like, yeah, just use the dating apps. Like, I so understand that it's not always that easy, and like, I'm single, so yeah, maybe what I'm doing isn't necessarily working. But I just think that there are so many opinions. Naturally, everyone is entitled to their own opinion on things and on life and all sorts of things, and it's so easy to get sucked into those things and believe that too, because believe you me, I have believed, especially recently, especially when I was low, not going to meet anyone, it's not happening for me, why is it not happening for me? And then I started to think, I just want to meet someone, and I was getting into that headspace. And I think it's because, for me, I'm so ready to meet the man of my dreams. I'm ready for it, but I'm also not going to settle. You'll never catch me settling for anyone. I want the right person for me, and if that means I'll be single for another year or two, then that will be that. There's nothing that is going to stop me from feeling like that. I am a very strong-headed woman, which I think us strong-headed women should be, because we are just as good as the men that do all of these things and earn money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think that a lot of males in this world will always want to be the breadwinner, and they don't like the idea of a girl doing well. You almost have to like dumb yourself down to meet a guy, which is actually kind of stupid, because in my eyes, I don't understand, right, why a guy wouldn't be happy and excited to meet a girl who's also doing well. That, to me, is a great combination of human beings. Don't you think? Like, why wouldn't you want to date a girl or be with a girl who is succeeding in her own career whilst you're succeeding in your own career, and together you create two human beings that are really good in their own careers and you can enjoy it together? I don't understand the logic. I think it is mostly down to this, how society's always said that males should always earn more, or they should be the breadwinner. But like, look, honey, we're not living in that world anymore. we're living in a world where females are doing well and we're becoming bosses and we're earning money, and the males need to take a step back, because I'm sorry, I'm not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We're here to stay. If you don't like it, you can walk away. Believe you me, a few guys have walked away from me because of that. I just think that it's almost like intimidation, isn't it? It's like, oh God, like she can't be doing better than me. But at the end of the day, what is the problem with it? I don't see the problem in it. And I think the more I have, the more successful I get, the more strong I feel about this. The more I'm like, look, if you can't appreciate someone for the work they've done to get to where they are, and appreciate the fact that it's amazing that they are achieving things like that, then you can jog on, because clearly you have some insecurities. It's always the men that have the insecurities. They just don't like it. You don't see girls going up to a guy and being like, oh, no, can't be with you. You're earning too much money. Oh, you're doing too well for yourself. No, can't be with you. You don't see that. But the boys, not men, boys, they can't handle it. They can't handle the strong females. They cannot handle it. Do you know what I mean? I hope some of you also understand this. I don't know, like, I don't actually think it's even necessarily about money. I think it's more about the job role in which you have. If you have a really good job role, I think it can be slightly intimidating to males. But I do think a lot of guys are very into being the one with the most money. And it's a shame that in this world we have to dumb ourselves down and not tell people how well we're doing to get someone to like us. Why is that a thing? No wonder less and less people are having babies and more women are single, because the males can't handle it. Anyway, that was just a little bit of like thoughts I've been having recently, but also it's made me realise just how important it is to focus on my own journey and focus on what I'm doing, and not let the idea of finding my husband be a focus constantly. It has to be fair, you have to date a lot of people to find someone that works for you, and you have to just be open to it. But also, you'll meet the person when you're supposed to. Like, you will. There's no doubt about that. You'll meet the person you're supposed to be with when you're supposed to meet them. And it's just remembering that it's nothing to do with you and everything to do with the Weasley men that come your way. Because some of them, God. And do you know what's always so funny? You date someone and you think, oh, they're so nice. And then maybe 2 or 3 years later, you're like, ugh. Ugh. You see a story from one of them, you think, oh God, ick. There is one guy that I went on a couple of dates with, and we were talking for a bit, and like, don't get me wrong, he's lovely, he's charming, but I see pictures of him and I get incredibly icked out. Like, I just think, ooh, that's gross. Like, just makes me cringe. Like, it really makes me cringe. But the moral of this segment of the episode is that if you are a female and you're doing well for yourself and you're struggling to date, it's okay. Me too. But also, you're not gonna not meet someone. You'll meet the right person. But there's less men out there that can handle it. So you have to wait for your special prince amongst all of the frogs, because the princes are few and far between when you're looking for someone, you know, who's on the same vibe as you. It's very hard to find, but we will find our princes, and all the little frogs that keep coming about can disappear, can move on. But away from the relationship things, because I'm sure some of you are not necessarily looking to hear positive vibes about relationships, we're going to move on to career. We're going to move on to the positive things that can happen from your career. Now, career is something that is obviously personal, and every job is different, and I can't, sit here and talk about every single job because I don't know a lot of things about jobs. I only know the job I'm in. But I do think when you give yourself the opportunities and you push yourself out of your comfort zone and you try new things and you try to better yourself within your career, the more opportunities come about. I know it's hard, don't get me wrong. I know that it's hard to move up in a job role. It's hard to get more money. It's hard to actually be paid what you are working for. Like the amount of people, some of my friends who work so incredibly hard, who are incredible at their job, don't even get the pay rise that they ask for. So they have to move jobs to try and gain that little bit of extra money that they actually deserve to have. Because people at the top don't like people that are good at their jobs. And believe you me, I've been in that position. I've been in the position where you're good at it. You know your stuff. I used to work in a social media team. And I naturally was quite good at social media. That's something I did at the side of my job. I think I was on about 50, 60k, let's say, at the time. And I know my stuff. Like, this is why I do this job. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I know my stuff. And that's why I have become successful in it, because I know what I'm talking about. They didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to listen to me. They didn't want my advice. They didn't want to believe that I knew what I was doing. And so I very swiftly left. And as you can see, I did know what I was doing because I have become successful from my side hustle. So don't listen to the people at the top who want to dumb you down or make you feel like you're not good enough, or tell you, no, you need to do this before you get there. You know in your hearts of hearts if you're good at your job. And if someone is not listening to you and is not giving you the time of day, try and find a new route. Maybe route? Did I just say that? Route. That you can go down. Whether that is finding a new job. Sometimes you have to go away from the dream job, learn experience elsewhere, and come back to it. So if you really enjoy your job, you like what you're doing, but you're not gaining anything, going to a different job maybe won't be necessarily the dream job, but could be a job for another year or two that then can get you back to the dream job. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to skirt around it a little bit, just like, But remember, like, the more opportunities, the more open you are to things, the more good vibes and good things that will come your way. When you are open to opportunities and you maybe take something that wasn't quite what you were expecting to do, it does give you new routes to take. It does open the doors for you. And that in turn will make life even better. Like, you have no idea what it's going to bring for you. You have absolutely no idea. Even me going to do this panel talk, right? I posted a little story about my anxiety. And even that, like, there was about 3 or 4 people who messaged me saying, I was in the crowd, I was watching. That is mind-blowing to me, because I sometimes don't think that there's that many people following me. But actually there's 250k people, and that could be anyone. That could be anyone. You have no idea who's looking at what you're doing. And just that was like, wow, okay. There are people paying attention. There are opportunities about. There are people that see what you do and think, we like her, or we want to work with her, or she's good at her job. So don't ever let someone make you feel like you are not good at what you do when you know that you're good at what you do. Sometimes it is a case of moving around, doing different things that will eventually bring you back to what you need to do. But you have to do it in order to, 1, get the money that you deserve, and 2, prove that you are actually good at what you can do. Because sometimes people won't believe it until you have that experience under your belt, so you can prove that you're good at it. You've done those jobs. I don't know why, but yeah, I think it's always the way with people higher up. They don't like the idea of someone coming for their job or doing as good as them, and I can understand that. I think it's very natural. It's kind of like a caveman instinct, if you will. This could be completely wrong. Please don't at me if this is wrong. But like, that idea of like, this is my thing, don't come for my thing, this is mine, I guess is something that we all have in us. Like, don't come for my things. don't come from my job. And I think that it does, with some people's personalities, it does make them then not want to help you out, or not want to work with you, or not want to give you that pay rise that you deserve. So it is hard, but I think that overall, being open to opportunities is what brings so much goodness. Doing things that maybe put yourself out of your comfort zone, like experiencing new things where you can. Now, like, I'm such a home girl, like I love being at home and I don't always want to go out. But I have been forcing myself a little bit more. I say a little bit more. Very small amount. Pushing myself to do things, have conversations with people that are not necessarily something I always do. Doing something different, even if that is going for a walk on a Sunday on my own to a different place. Doing something different that could open opportunities, whether that's you see something that gives you inspiration, you meet someone on the way, you have a really nice coffee, you go to a new area and you think, wow, like all of these things open new opportunity and new things to think about and new things that can inspire you and bring new good things. I think we often forget, especially when we're in that low headspace, how good life is and how amazing things are. And just to remember that, like, we're lucky to be here. We're lucky to be living in a place that is safe, and we don't need to stress every time we leave the house. We don't need to worry about what's going on. We can just live. And I think for me, especially with what's going on in the world right now, that is something I'm incredibly grateful for. I'm so grateful that I can live a life and be safe and happy and okay, and my family are okay, and I'm breathing and I'm alive. Like, I'm so grateful for all those things. I think that if you're someone listening right now who lives in a country that is safe, we have so much goodness around us that we should make the most of it and enjoy it and be appreciative of it, because life is great. And there is so much goodness coming your way. I can't even express to you how much goodness will come your way. But also we are so close to the most wonderful time of the year. Do, do, do. To be a good cheer. Because once Halloween has gone, which, when is this episode coming out? I can't remember. Is it coming out on Halloween? It is coming out on Halloween. So after today, we can get ready for Christmas. I'm so excited. I have been wanting to feel festive for ages, but I feel like it's not really possible until Halloween's over. Halloween, a lot of people love Halloween. I feel like it's becoming bigger and bigger every year. Not for me. I have the closest thing that I have got to with Halloween is my pumpkin jar that I got from a candle last year, and it's just sat there, but it's kind of neutral. You wouldn't even know it was a pumpkin. That's as close as we're getting to pumpkins. To be fair, I do like carving a pumpkin. I think that's kind of fun, but like, I'm also not that fussed by it. So I'm ready for Christmas. When we get to the end of the year, it's pure good vibes. You know, people are wanting to go out for drinks more. People are in good vibes. Everyone's like ready for things. They're like, want to have a festive drink. They want to do things and just be festive. How many times can I repeat myself? Oh my God. But like, it is such a fun time of year, and not exactly necessarily like the Christmas Day part, because I know that that's not always enjoyable for people, and that I can understand, and that time of year can be tough for a lot of people, especially, you know, giving gifts and all that kind of stuff, especially if you can't afford to do so, or maybe you don't even celebrate Christmas. But I do think the months of November and December are just so happy. I feel like there's a lot of good vibes, a lot of feel good moments, and I think that is something that we can all be so excited for, whether that is you just going for your Christmas work party or drinks with friends that you haven't seen in a while, festive drinks, or even if that is just going to a Christmas market. There's just so much festiveness, and I love it. I can't wait to have my Christmas tree in the corner over there. Can't wait for it. Like, I had Christmas tree here last year, obviously. And I loved it. Like, you know, when you just walk into your living room in the morning and you're like, oh. And because I have a real Christmas tree, it really, really just makes me feel so festive. I would probably buy a fake one, because, you know, they are pretty decent if you find a good one, but I have absolutely no space in my flat. So real tree it is. And I'm so excited. Anyway, we're all bringing the good vibes this week, you know. I think we need the good vibes. We're going into a new month, starting tomorrow. It's a new month, and it's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be a fun one. Good vibes only. We are just having a good rest of the year. Do you know what I mean? I think we should make the most of it. I think we should have fun and just enjoy this amazing time. And hopefully it will bring amazing good things along with it. So remember, you still have time to be open to all the opportunities. You still have time to enjoy the rest of the year. You still have time to be the best you. You always have time to be the best you. Remember that, okay? Make sure you remember that. Make sure you're following the Still Got Time podcast on Instagram. Follow the podcast, first of all. Give it a little follow. Please do give it a rating if you did enjoy it. I'd really, really, really appreciate that. Also, you can watch it on YouTube if you want to. It's out there if you want to watch it. Not many people do, but if you're interested, watch it. You can also follow the podcast Instagram, which is Still Got Time Podcast. I'm going to be doing a few more interactive things over there. So if you're interested in that, or you just want to hear a little bit more, go over there. And also the TikTok, which is Still Got Time Podcast on TikTok. And you can see all lots of little clips and things. I'm going to start doing a few more like talky videos over there that are a little bit more just thoughts and things I'm having as I go through the week. So make sure you're following that. And if you want to learn more about me and you want to see what I'm up to and you want some good vibes and you want like all of those kind of things and you just want a bit of fashion inspo, you can also follow me. I am Charlotte Olivia is my handle for everything. But yeah, sorry for the plug, but I just thought I'd add it in there at the end because maybe we need a little bit of a plug. We need a little bit of a boost, and I've got to promote myself at some time. Got to promote myself sometimes. And, you know, I know some of you like to, you know a little bit more. If you follow me on podcast, then you might want to know more about my life. Or if you've come over here from my Instagram, hello, welcome. Lovely to have you all. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you all next week. Bye.